Jim, after working so hard to get back into the game, that's a sickener, isn't it?
Yeah, it's as low as I felt after the game for a long period of time. Given what we put into the game, all week we were talking about how little there was between the two teams. In the league, where only a point separates both of us. So I didn't think there was going to be lots of goals between us. Felt there was going to be the odd goal that might make the difference, and unfortunately tonight Motherwell are the ones that have come out on top.
How did you see the 90 unfolding in your view over the piece?
Well, I mean, look, I don't need to look at the stats to see that there wasn't a great deal in the game. Motherwell quite direct in their approach. They're quite willing to get the ball forward early and go and play off second balls and try and get your back line turned. I thought we had good passages of possession. Playing out from the back into the boys in the middle. We created an overload in the middle of the park, and that worked a lot in the first half. But we didn't create enough clear-cut opportunities. But I don't think Motherwell did either. I don't think it was a game of huge amount of chances. I think the chances that we had, we didn't do enough with in the first half. And then when we get the game level, you've got to then try and settle things down. And if that means taking the game to extra time, then so be it. But I'm really annoyed with the build-up, the phase of play that leads to the penalty, because I don't think Will Ferry does a huge amount wrong on the far side. Paul McGinn, quite clever from an experienced player, I suppose, but he shelled the ball into the stand, and there's a little bit of contact between Will and himself, but nothing for me that warrants a free kick. And that's the difference between us getting a long throw, the opportunity to put the ball into the box, and the referee giving them a free kick and the chance to punt the ball up the park, and then that leads to the penalty. But there's no getting away from the penalty kick. It's a really poor decision, and Luca knows that. Doesn't need to go to ground, and if he does go to ground, then he needs to make sure he wins the ball, and that didn't happen.
It's a shame for him personally as well, because ever since he's come to the club he's been pretty much flawless, and I guess that's maybe the risk that you take when you're playing young, inexperienced players, that they make a rash decision like that.
No, Luke has been outstanding. He's been very consistent since coming in, and he's unfortunate that rush of blood to the head has been so costly tonight. I think there was a real sense of desperation, within the back line, because they know what's at stake. They know how little time is left in the game, and nobody wants to be the one to make that mistake. But unfortunately for Luca, it's a learning curve, and that's all it is. So we win and lose together, and we'll support the wee man. He's a top boy. He's apologising in there to the group, but we know there's no he doesn't mean it. It's just a poor decision at a key moment.
Is the overriding emotion in the dressing room want to ruin a missed opportunity, given that it was quite a winnable tie on paper?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit disrespectful to say it's a winnable tie, because as I said, there's nothing between the two teams on paper as far as I'm concerned. Motherwell have had a decent start to the league campaign, similar to ourselves. And I don't think there was ever going to be a great deal in the game. Obviously, we were hoping that we were going to be the ones to come out on top. Certainly wasn't for a lack of effort or a lack of commitment from the players. Defensively all season we've been excellent. There's been two really good goals in the game. The Motherwell finish, it's a great finish from the boy on the angle, and then obviously Louis Molt's goal is world class. And then the game looks like it's drifting into extra time, but for that poor decision that leads to the penalty kick, and unfortunately we go out and Motherwell progress.
How do you go about picking up the spirits ahead of that game against Kilmarnock next week?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a bit of time now between the next game. Obviously, as you can imagine, emotionally right now the players are low and disappointed, and the whole build up to the game has been around doing enough to win the game and give ourselves a trip to Hampden to look forward to. But as in any game, it's never easy, and Motherwell have got the all important goal that takes them through instead of us.